Okay. Good evening, folks. Waiting for those notifications to go out to everybody. I see a couple people already online. It's a good thing. Got a lot that I'm going to go over tonight. So we'll wait for some people to get in here. Birdie to tweet first. How about that? Okay, yeah, we'll wait a little bit. Had a good dinner. A hangnail popped up on me here, so let some folks get in here. Hey, Giovanna, D. McLean. Hey, Linda Anderson's in there. There's Leo and Truckin' Girl. All right, got some folks coming in there now. So it's been a bit, and as always, I've been pretty busy. And just to let you know, I've got doing some side jobs, trying to keep myself busy and get a little income while I'm waiting for some more medical stuff to be done. So just never ending at this point. So in any case, let's get started here. The debt ceiling. You know, these are my opinions. So if you don't agree with them, change channel. But here's the deal. The Republicans in the House came up with a debt ceiling bill, and McCarthy takes that to the resident and comes back with a completely different deal. One that, first I got to say, how does one negotiate with someone who is cognitively displaced? I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for that negotiation. My opinion, they've got dirt on McCarthy, and they submitted the bill to him and said, this is what you're going to do. You're going to take it, or we're going to expose you. That's my opinion. And so he ran with it. $4 trillion. No, by the way, there is no cap for 2 years, so I don't think it's going to be limited to just $4 trillion. I think that it's going to go skyrocketing and get worse before it gets better. I believe that the debt ceiling deal that the Republican Party put together in the House, even that one was still kind of extreme in my opinion, but should have been stuck to. And if the resident didn't like it, then default. Now everybody's going around saying you can't default. It'll be the first time we don't. You can't default. Oh my God, the sky is falling. We're going to default sooner or later. All they're doing is kicking the can down the road to try and move it into the next administration and then fault them. Look, when you overspend, you have too many expenses. You have to trim the expenses. You can't just, have 5 credit cards all maxed out and go and get a 6th credit card just so that you can spend more and expect that everything's going to turn out just fine. We've gone from billions of dollars worth of debt to trillions of dollars worth of debt, and there's no end in sight. So we have to default. And I say we have to default because that brings everybody back to the table. And everybody's like, oh, you can't do that. Well, guess what? If you've got the people that are loaning out the money, see that you're in default and you can't pay the bill, bring them back to the table and negotiate some deal. Great deal for America. When we can get those 500 and odd agencies that are in D.C., shut them down. You know, I've said it for a long time. I saw it's been about 10 years or more ago, maybe 15 years ago, that I saw that they had over $1 million that they were investing into a government program to see how quick or how fast ketchup came out of the bottle. I kid you not. You can look it up. That's the kind of crap that we need to expel. We need to get rid of that because we don't need it. Government has gotten way too big, and they're continuing to move on we need to control you. Well, we're a republic, which means we're the ones that are supposed to control them. So that's the key. So we're going to default. I think that we should do that. That would bring people together. And then if they didn't come up with a deal and say, well, I guess we're going to just have to bankrupt. That gets their opinion. That gets them going, whoa, 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 whoa. We don't want that. So, let's talk this through. It forces them to come to the table with a deal. We're not talking about no damn $4 trillion deal. We're talking about stop the spending, stop sending the money over to the Ukraine, stop sending money anywhere outside of the United States, period. And oh, by the way, all those people coming across the southern border, and I would say the Hispanics, but it's not just Hispanics. Over 170 countries. And I saw a report today that there are more Chinese in some instances than anyone else coming across. Military-aged men, Chinese men. I don't know about you, that kind of scares me. And let's give them money. Let's put them on a bus or a plane. Let's send them all over the country. Let's put them up in ritzy hotels, and let's give them a phone. Because one day we'll patriate them, and they'll be voters for the Democrats. That's what that's going to be all about. So that's my take on the debt ceiling. But because McCarthy has done what he has done, I'm going to go back to the very first week of January when I was covering and putting in my 2 cents about McCarthy. And I don't trust him. I didn't trust him then. I don't trust him now. And now he's proven that he's untrustworthy. Nothing he has promised has completed. He gave us a little taste with Tucker Carlson and the J6 tapes. Just a little taste, though. Release them. And I don't want to see Marjorie Taylor Greene out there saying, well, we really can't do that because it could be unsafe. People would dox people for being there. Faces would be seen. You know what? Well, you know what else would be seen? Innocence. Innocence would be seen. The fact that it was a total and utter setup, that would be seen. Get them out there. We the people want to see what happened in our house. So get them out there. But back in that first day, those first 6 days of the year, McCarthy was making deals in order to get that seat. And there were 20 brave citizens, representatives, Republicans, that said, no, you're not going to be Speaker. And then towards the end, they said, well, if you want to be Speaker, you're going to do X, Y, and Z. One of them was a motion to vacate on a single member. And what that means is a single member of Congress can issue a motion to vacate the seat of Speaker. And now we don't go back into a bunch of vote. No. Now you need 218 to stay. Or you're out. So it's time. Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert, Andy Biggs, Luna, somebody. It's time to file a motion to vacate on McCarthy. Now, there's a bittersweet to that. We know that McCarthy rolled over for this debt ceiling bill. And the Democrats love him for it. Someone files a motion to vacate, and you want to bet, what do you want to bet that the Democrats will push him up to that 218 to stay? But in my opinion, that would expose him to working for the Democrats. That's what it would do. But I still say, get it done. Now, there's some other things. Back in November and December, he was talking about impeachment of Mayorkas. He said, you resign or I'll impeach you. We're 6 months in there, Mr. McCarthy. Where's the impeachment for Alejandro Mayorkas? Well, there is one, but it only came out on the 18th of May from Marjorie Taylor Greene, Articles of Impeachment. House resolutions, and they're in the comments, by the way. Not the comments, excuse me, in the description. House resolutions 405, 406, 410, 411, and 420 are for impeachment. Okay? 405 is to impeach Matthew Graves, who is the U.S. Attorney in the District of Columbia, who's been going after our J6 people, saying he's going to get 1,000 more grandmothers for taking pictures, but hasn't taken any serious crimes to bear. 406 is on Christopher Wray. That's his impeachment. That's House Resolution 406. 410 is the impeachment of Merrick Garland, which has to happen. The DOJ is the Democrat Police Department, along with the FBI. And they have to be dealt with. 411 is Alejandro Mayorkas. 420 is Joe Biden. Now, there's another resolution. It's Resolution 412. Now, first and foremost, those resolutions I just mentioned, 405, 410, 411, and 420. Those are stuck in judiciary. What does that mean? It means they're not even scheduled. So the articles, which is the same thing as a criminal complaint, were filed by Marjorie Taylor Greene on the 18th of May. And on the 19th of May and 18th and 19th of May, they were accepted by the Judiciary Committee, which is the next step in the process. Now they should schedule it for hearings. A big fat zero. And when you look at the co-sponsors on those resolutions, they are really weak. So, what do we have to do? Get on the phone, get on the email, and start hounding your representatives in Congress to say, unstick 405, 406, 410, 411, and 420 from judiciary, and tell Jim Jordan to schedule, to hear, and to pass those resolutions. Once they've passed judiciary, they go to the House floor for an impeachment vote. Hearing and vote. Get on the phone and blow it up Have your friends, your neighbors, and all of your acquaintances tell them, get on there. Call your representatives and light them up. Light them up. There's one other resolution. It's Resolution 412, put forth by Luna, that you want to have pushed through the system too. It's stuck. Now, 412 is the expulsion of Adam Schiff. That representative from Florida, Luna, processed. It's sitting in the House Ethics Committee. Nothing being done. No schedule and no hearing date. So you want that. Resolution 412, House Resolution 412. You want that to get unstuck. Let's put the pressure on these people. They work for us, not the other way around, even though they believe that that's the case. Let's send them packing. So, I wanted to say that, there's a lot going on that we touched here and we've touched there, especially when it comes to the month of June. We need to really expose where the problems are here in the LGBTQ plus. I have no problem with LGB. No problem at all. But I will not have it shoved down my throat that I would have to accept or be transphobic for trans. No, I won't. Why should I accept you, a trans man or woman, in your decision to be a man or woman when you couldn't accept yourself before this decision? And even though they'll argue that gender is fluid, and it's a choice. Gender is a choice, and you are what you believe you are. No way. We've got centuries of knowing what is a man and what is a woman. Don't try and change it and make crap up and then try to shove it down my throat and call me a transphobe, because I won't accept you. And you shouldn't accept it either. And what makes it even worse is when they're putting it in front of our children. That's where I draw the line. But they're doing it. And the government is backing them, especially the Democrats. Oh, it's Pride Month. Pride Month. We went from having a Pride parade, I recall, years ago in San Francisco, to Pride Month. But if you don't agree with me, then you're a bigot, and you're a transphobe, and you're a Nazi. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I believe that there's something in the background that's causing this. We all know, we've all seen that Adam Schiff and a lot of the individuals that are pushing this, are they themselves pedophiles? And they're trying to make it normal. They're after your kids. They're after my grandkids, my great-grandkids, the future children. They're indoctrinating. They're taking young minds that I don't know anybody that didn't, dress up and, at 5 and 6 and 7 years old and get into mom, boys that got into mom's lipstick and my son did when he was about that age. Got into the makeup and you look in there, had a 6-year-old boy all messed up, but still. It didn't mean that he was trans. But these parents, they can't see that. They're thinking, oh, I saw this video of a black woman and her child. Must have been a month old. And she's dancing around her living room and say hi to gay baby, say hi to gay baby. These people are sick. This is a mental disorder. And we need to stand up and point this out. We cannot accept this. It's leading or possibly covering as well another thing that is really sickening that's happening all over the world is child trafficking. So I saw an article put up by Chad Prather over on Twitter. And that was put up this morning at 8:37 my time. North Texas superintendent arrested in Houston area for child sex sting. We need a lot more of this. We need to put more people in cuffs. And we need to make sure that it is publicly seen that these predators are after the children. And this guy isn't wearing a dress and a gaudy old wig and tons of makeup. But I don't believe for a minute that a man dresses up as a woman, tapes his genitals to his leg, gets all gussied up and puts on a miniskirt to go and see children, and he doesn't have a problem. I ain't buying it. I ain't buying it whatsoever. So it has to end. Put the pressure on them. Call them out. Don't hide. Call them out. Another one. Somebody needs to kind of explain what this is to me. I'll pause it. And I'll put it up. These are government buses leaving the southern border full of children. No parents. Yeah. So, what's that all about? These are children, unaccompanied minors coming across the border. This is child trafficking. And our government is doing it. Joe Biden and Alexandra Mayorkas, he's in charge of this. We need to hold them accountable. We need to hold them accountable for what they're doing. Now, back on the whole trans thing, if y'all haven't seen it, you have to go see it. Matt Walsh put out about a 98-minute movie. What is a Woman? If you haven't seen it, watch it. I think they've extended it through the weekend. The free viewing on Twitter on Matt's page. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get you Matt's link here. Here it is. So I just put that up for you. And take a look at this movie. It's an eye-opener. I won't give it away. Matt does a great job at it. And I also see that he's got it up on Spotify as well. So go and see. Go and watch this 98-minute movie. There's a couple other movies that are coming out as well. And one of them is coming out. I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it. It's called The Great Awakening. I want you to just be aware of that. And that's talking about what the WEF and the New World Order, and people are waking up to the whole COVID problem and the pandemic that's no longer here, and so on. So keep your eyes open for The Great Awakening as well. I gotta say, if you think about it, the Democrats are trying to take our guns. They've always been trying to do that. They're obviously, my pen just ran out of ink. They've always been after our guns, which is kind of crazy. There we go. In 1938, there was this guy in Germany. His name was Hitler. And Hitler in Germany started taking guns away from citizens. And by 1940, actually it was 1936, I believe, when they were doing that. And over a few years, they managed to capture the guns. And we saw what come out of that. Our guns will keep history from repeating itself. Because I believe right now that we're looking at a parallel situation to 1930s Germany. And if we're not careful, we're going to be looking at another 1940s Germany. So we can't give up our guns, and in fact, we've got to make sure that we know what we have, how to use it. If you've got range timing, you don't have range timing, go get it. Know how to use your weapons. So one thing that's actually kept us safe over the years is the fact that we're armed. But every single country that has disarmed their citizens, it hasn't turned out good for the citizens. So we need to make sure that we keep our weapons. But they're going to try really, really hard to take them. And I don't want to see what happens to this country when they do. Some people know exactly what I'm talking about. I do believe that history is, in fact, repeating itself. And we need to stop it. There's something that I see here that the FBI and Christopher Wray had refused Comer and Grassley's requests and subpoenas, a subpoena from Comer, to turn over the 1023 that expressly spoke to Joe Biden taking bribes from foreign entities for decisions as vice president. Now, Christopher Wray is saying that he'll play a good little FBI director and get that over to Comer and Grassley. I'll believe it when I see it. Or there may be some fire in the vault that burns it up. Let's not forget. Well, I won't even go there because that'll get me canceled. I'll just believe it when I see it. So Trump put out a truth, and it's lit the internet up. Instead of calling us MAGA, we're MAGADonians. You see in the title of tonight's live stream, we are the MAGADonians. That sounds pretty cool. Almost sounds like a political party to me. So yes, we are the MAGADonians. I think there's a good logic behind this. He gets away from MAGA Republicans and the MAGADonians, and the Democrats have been using, and the mainstream media have been using MAGA Republicans. It really gets me. Oh, we're fair and balanced, but the extreme MAGA Republicans, that doesn't sound too fair and balanced to me, but maybe that's just me. I don't watch that news, but I catch a clip here and there. So I'm just going through my notes here. There we are. So I think that's a title that might work out. Let me know what you think. So many of you know that I have a website that I've had for a long time, patriotroster.com, and you are welcome to go there. I've got it up on the screen. I'm not over on the chat screen, so I haven't been watching chat. Oh, looks like Gunny's in the room. Welcome in, Aaron. So yeah, by the way, the website and everything else and the time and everything that we use to stream, it's not free. And any assistance that you can give is greatly appreciated. If you want to help support, you can go to my website over on graywolfwalk.com. There's a donations page there. I may put the donations page also over on the Patriot roster, but any support is appreciated. The websites and everything that we've got going, and we're going to be growing them. We're going to be growing these websites. They're not cheap. In fact, they're coming up at the end of June on a pretty big nut to crack on the payment, so to keep the next year going. So anything you can help is appreciated. But back on the patriotroster.com, if you register there, I've been doing a lot of videos that I'm going to be putting up there that have to do with growing vegetables, and a greenhouse, and making bread, making sausage, pretty much canning. I'm doing a bunch of videos that I'll be putting up there, but I'll also be putting them up like I did here last week, to help those out who are thinking, what's going to happen. Look, food is expensive. Now, Mr. T went out and was doing some shopping today just for a couple of things, and come across a deal. Pork chops, $1.99 a pound. So it was $9.93 for a dozen pork chops. So we take that, we vacuum pack up in threes, and let's watch for these deals. But those deals are hard to find. Be able to watch up, for your proteins. Stock up on the beans. Beans have got a lot of proteins and they store well. 5-gallon buckets. But been having conversations about, what kind of protesting are we going to be able to do? Just over a year ago, back February was a year, we protested in a convoy. Now, that's a real neat way to protest. I mean, it's a lot of metal rolling down the road, bumper to bumper. You get 100 cars, you've got a traffic jam. You get 100 trucks, and you have a spectacle. Then went to doing a walk. Didn't get the turnout. And I believe that people aren't hurting enough. They just don't see that we're really in dire straits in this country. And they're not so subtly taking away our rights. You walk by a pride event. There was one video of a woman just walking on the sidewalk. She had a MAGA hat on. Oh, excuse me. And she was assaulted by a guy in the Pride area that come out, started calling her a Nazi, and grabbed the hat, and she had her ponytail going through the back of the hat, so it just pulled on her hair. That's assault. She wasn't doing anything. She didn't say anything to anybody, but that's what we're living in. We're living in these times when, I would not be able to hold my composure that way. I'm pretty sure that I'd throat punch somebody. Just somebody come up and try and take my hat, and just so people know. It's really not orange, but the color of the light turns the red orange, okay? Now, this particular hat sits on my shelf because I did receive this hat from Donald Trump. And, so this is the official tag here from there. But I got this hat from Donald Trump as he was coming out on stage in Carson City, Nevada in October of 2020. And he started tossing the hats. I was only 4 rows back. And I just put my hand up, boom, caught this hat. So I have another one, but this one's the one that I caught from Trump at the rally. So it just stays up on my shelf at this point. But it's just a red hat. And people being attacked for it. That's wrong. That's just absolutely wrong. Where are we going with this country? Our southern border. I touched base on it a little bit, but man, the southern border, 170 countries now. Yeah, I'm sure it's probably close to 180 now, have been caught coming across. I think I have one that I can show you. Here it is. Yeah, let me bring up this one. Watch this. See the guy behind him, he didn't want to say nothing. Shanghai. Believe that? China, China, China. Our southern border is a mess. And I'm honestly thinking there is no way we're going to be able to wait till January of 2025 to do something about this. There's no way. We can't wait another year and 3/4 to fix this problem. But at the same time, I just don't know where or how at this point to even create a protest that would move the needle. All the time that I was on the convoy, all the time that I was on the walk, I was saying, what will move the needle? What will get the people to come out and to be heard? And that's what it all comes down to. So I don't know what kind of a protest we could even do today other than local protesting. Get signs made up, get flags made up, and go flash mob. And try and get more people. Get more people to get on the roster so that we can at least communicate. But we do need to prepare. I think that food's going to really be hurting. Oil is going to be hurting. Fuel for your vehicle, hurting. Fuel for this coming winter's heating bill, hurting. Everybody needs to just be thinking about how to prepare for what is the worst. And at this point, hope for the best. And keep our ears open for what kind of protests we can do. Local, I think, is going to be the way to do it. So, if we can come up with some local events, I'm in Reno, so I'll be looking at Washoe Patriots. Get Washoe Patriots coming together. I'll have to look and see. I think next Saturday is the meeting. I'll have to check and see. But we got to go after the local politicians and then go on up from there. That's the only way I can think of that we're starting to move a needle. Otherwise, something big's got to happen. Something big's got to happen. So again, let me look around and see. I'm going to try and see what we've got in the chat going on here. Yeah, Giovanna, I agree with that comment. Having everybody that's coming across be fingerprinted and a sample of their DNA taken. Wow, that's such an intrusive thing to say, really. Yeah, as an American and a constitutionalist, I'd say, well, that's all against my my Bill of Rights as a citizen. Arguments could come through to say that they're not citizens, and we would want to be able to find them. I mean, come on, some of them got 2027 court dates. I mean, it's just a disaster. Leo, I agree. We're at the bottom. Well, I've said, man, how much lower can we go? And every time I say that, we find a new low. It's like, where's the bottom of this barrel? I'm going to have to post pictures of what I've got. I've got 5-gallon buckets with screw-off lids and deoxygenators, packets that take the oxygen out once it's sealed. And I've just got them stacked 4 or 5 wide from the floor to the ceiling with beans, different kinds of pinto beans, black beans, navy beans, and rice, flour. I'm using up the flour because it's, I've had it for about 3 years, so the flour needs to be used up. I just have to pick up some new flour or some grain and a grinder and start grinding my own flour. I've been doing a lot of other things, so. Judy, you're absolutely right. We need mass. We need millions across this country. And we don't want to have these, a 1-million-man march in D.C. No, we want to have like 10 or 20 million on every state going towards D.C. to where they can no longer say that we're just a fringe group of people. We're MAGADonians, after all. And we need to fight for this country. And, it's so easy to think, I'm just tired. I'm tired. I'm pissed. I'm hurt. People who I thought were going to turn out to be something, not. I'm tired of the twists and the turns and the gotchas. I really am. So it's so easy to just give up. But that, for me, would be like trying to just give up on breathing. So I'm constantly trying to think, what can we do next? What can we do next to achieve the movement of the needle? That's why you see everybody getting behind Trump, So it's like he's the one person that doesn't owe anybody to put him in office. He doesn't have any big donor monies. He doesn't have super PACs There are some super PACs that the RNC has, that they're working with him, but personally, he doesn't like that. No one's buying his position if he wins. If he wins, he did the same thing last time when he won in 2016. He didn't know anyone. Every single politician out there owes someone. They're beholden to someone who put a large amount of money into their campaign. They took it. And now that somebody will come up and say, well, I want you to vote this way. Yeah, but I don't want to. I don't care what you want. You're going to vote this way. I don't believe there's a single politician that isn't compromised in that fashion. And so, we need someone who isn't compromised. Long before Donald Trump, I always said that we needed to have a businessman step into the White House. A real gutsy businessman. And then when we get that person, it upsets the apple cart to where all they can do is to try and take him out. It's been the most investigated individual in history. If he was doing something wrong, hey, he can be arrogant. Yeah, he's arrogant. He's egotistical. I'll give you that. But I'm looking at what the man does. He's not afraid of anyone. Tells people, you're going to pay your fair share, or I'm pulling my cash out. Bye. That's what we need. We need somebody who just stands up to the other countries and to all the swamp creatures and says, up yours. We're going to do what's right for Americans first. So no one owns Trump. And that's what pisses everybody off. He's not owned. He's not beholden. Should he tone down the tweets? Absolutely not. That's what pisses them off even more, and it allows them to show their cards, their hand. The Bill Barrs of the world. They show themselves when he pisses them off, calls them names. It's all strategy. That's New York City kind of strategy. Bang. Right in your face, tells it like it is, and that's exactly what we need. I don't care what he does at night when he closes his bedroom door. Doesn't make a bit of difference to me. It's what he does for me as an American that's more important than anything else. That's what I look at. And it doesn't have to be Trump, but I can tell you right now, there's not a single person in the running, not one other than Trump, who isn't owned. Look it up. Even DeSantis. He's done a lot of good work for Florida, done a lot of lying. He sat up there in the beginning of COVID along with everybody else saying, wear a mask, can't go to the beach, blah, and then says he didn't. But he's done a lot of good things for Florida. That I admit. But you are a harboring of who you associate with. So just take this into consideration. He's been endorsed by George Soros. That's enough for me. George Soros was also buddies with our friend from Arizona, and 73 other district attorneys like that in New York. Mr. Alvin Bragg. So, but you know, he's got the backing of Paul Ryan. He's got Mitt Romney. He's got a lot of these big rhinos. Now, there's a few that I'm questioning. What the hell are you thinking when they're backing DeSantis? But I have no problems against DeSantis. Personally, it's just knowing that there appears to be inconsistencies, and when he's backed by the individuals that back the Democrats, I have a problem with that. So, no. I will stick to Trump because he's the only one that's not owned by these people. He's not trying to take big money from them and say, okay, you know, because they're coming up to him and say, hey, you know what, Ronnie, you'd look really good in that boat, that big yacht off the shore, man. You'd look real good in that, but you're going to do this, 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 and that. Not Trump, but every other politician has taken big money. There are a few of them that are still taking the money, but it is money that's coming from patriotic people, backers. Look at Matt Gaetz. Tells it like it is. Whoever's giving him the money is who we should be looking at. Because that would be a model. That would be the person that I'd want to back me. Allow me to go out there and say what's right for Americans, for my constituents, and not for the special interest groups. That's the kind of stuff we need. So Trump's my man when it comes to that, yes. Till somebody else can come along and show me that what Trump has shown me, then he's my man. Hey, JM. One of the things also that has been coming up is the N-word, and I'm talking nuclear. World War III. Putin transferring nuclear weapons to Belarus makes you wonder if there's something big on the horizon. 30 tons of ammonium nitrate missing. Just a bunch of stuff not quite right. But I would also say that, our government has purchased more than $2.5 million. I don't know which departments. For something known as potassium iodide. $2.5 million worth. That's a lot of potassium iodide. Now, do you know what potassium iodide does? Potassium iodide blocks your system from the effects of low-level radiation poisoning. Key words there, right? Low level. High level, you're pretty much glowing in the dark, so boom, you're out. But low-level radiations, let's say that somebody did an ammonium nitrate and plutonium spent rods from somewhere around the world, blah, 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 and creates a dirty bomb. That kind of low-level radiation, or fringe to a mushroom cloud zone. Now, I don't want to put the big, oh my God, we're going to war, we're going to World War III. Well, according to many, we're already in World War III. I think we are. We just haven't hit the kinetic side of it, shall we say. I think that we're definitely at the cyber side of things, and we're definitely at the at the PSYOP side of it. And we shouldn't allow it. I would recommend that you go right now, go out to Amazon or someplace like that, and look up potassium iodide. Get yourself a bottle of potassium iodide. Put it in your go bag. You may need it someday. If the government's buying it, then I have it, type of deal. So, yeah, pick yourself up some potassium iodide. Well, folks, I think we're about an hour now, a little over an hour. Appreciate each and every one of you coming out. We're going to have to come together. There's no doubt about that. We come together by going to places like patriotroster.com and registering there. It's by email. We're not getting any personal information. And get on the roster. Now, if the internet, I say if, when the internet goes down, how are you going to communicate? When the internet goes down and cell phone services go down, how do you communicate? Well, I have a ham shack full of ham radios. I have the ability to communicate around the world terrestrially without any satellites, without any repeaters. What do you have? Think about that. If you go to patriotroster.com, you'll see after registration a drop-down menu under You Ready that talks about that. Talks about what kind of radios you should be looking at. How do you make an antenna? Oh, thanks, Leo. Something's coming my way. Thanks. Yeah. So, sorry about that. The masses need to have a way to communicate. And when you're at Patriot Roster, there's forums there. You're welcome to put up a topic of discussion in the forums and have a dialogue. Now, granted, when the internet goes down, so does Patriot Roster. Now, you could invest in something like an Inmarsat satellite phone, prepaid. Put it in your go bag. Inmarsat to Inmarsat calls don't require internet. They don't require cellular telephone. So, Inmarsat to Inmarsat, you can contact people via text or by voice on your prepaid. I chose Inmarsat because they have a dozen satellites up in a geosynchronous orbit. And that's kind of important because geosynchronous is about 20,000 miles up equatorially. So they follow the equator. Your Iridium, like your Skynet, are polar orbit. So they're kind of just flying all over the place, and they're up about 400, a little over 400 miles. If the shit hits the fan nuclear-wise, then we could have blackouts on those 400 miles. We could have EMPs on those 400-mile satellites. We'd take them out. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So that's something to think about. Also, EMPs, just so you know, an EMP will destroy electronics that have electrons flowing. So if you don't have a battery in your phone, in your sat phone, for instance, you don't put the battery on there until you need it, You're not going to have, if you've got it on and your battery there and your electrons are flowing through the circuits, then the EMP is going to destroy it. But it won't do that if there's no electrons flowing through the circuit. Same thing on your computers. Same thing in the computer in your car. I have vehicles that don't have computers. They'll run. Because even with an EMP, they'll run. These are dark times. And we can only hope that the light comes soon. So, I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight. I hope that everybody realizes at this particular point, keep your eyes wide open, keep your head on a swivel. Watch the sky. Watch the water. You see this stuff with these Chinese nationals coming in through the southern border as part of this 170 country invasion at our southern border. Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution is definitely in breach, and that is our Article 2, which is our administration. I don't even like saying the guy's name, I won't even say it. But it is our resident that is supposed to ensure our security at the southern border and our borders in general. And he's in violation of Article 4, Section 4 of our Constitution. So, it's all here. If you go out there again to patriotroster.com, I have a complete indexed version of all constitutional documents. I spent a very long time indexing them so you can see them as they are quoted in the Constitution. I do believe that we are looking at the second paragraph of the Declaration of Independence. Look that up. Read that. Understand that. So until the next time, folks, I love all of you. Thank you for watching. Share this. Like this. Give it the thumbs up. Turn on that notification bell. And make sure that everybody you know does the same. We'll get some more information out to you. So, I'm going to just say, God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Keep your head up. Good night.